internet, and welcome back to the live stream. It is Saturday, the 21st of December, 2019. Today I will be live for 82 minutes. That's right, 82 minutes on these YouTube streams. These streams get longer by a minute each week. Now, of course, we're playing with the new Studio Beta, which arguably isn't out of beta yet, and it probably shouldn't be because it's pretty crap. You did see a little flash of me right there at the start. Now, that's my bad. I should have had my scene set to a clear layer on Wirecast, because I've got to send the signal to YouTube, then I've got to go across to YouTube Studio Beta and press go live. That's awesome, YouTube. You guys have nailed the live streaming technique. It never used to be that way. You could just start your software and it would patch it into the YouTube browser and you wouldn't even have to open up the browser. But now I've got to sit here with a browser open and manually hit start stream. What a load of crap. That means I can't actually time these to the minute because I never know when YouTube's getting the feed. It gives you the little preview window at the top left, which just says excellent health. It doesn't actually say that there's receiving, it just says excellent health. You look at that, all you see is black because that's your stream hasn't begun yet, so you don't know whether you're on or not. So then you finally press, okay, I'll press go live. You press go live. Well, hang on, now I've got to trigger it from my Stream Deck into my software. It's just a load of shit. YouTube, man, get your hand off it. Why do they... Look, I don't want this to be the weekly YouTube rant, but I tell you what, it is difficult here. It is super difficult to create content on this platform, and it's getting more and more difficult as it progresses along. These changes to fix things, they weren't broken in the first place. That's the thing. If people were whinging, people were saying, man, I can't stream to YouTube. It's so difficult. Can they change it? Can they fix it? Then that'd be a great reason to make a blanket change and fix things. But that's not been the case. No one has said, hey, YouTube, this thing's not working. Can you fix it? YouTube just said, oh, well, should we fix something else that's not broken? Yeah, let's go and fix the live streaming side of our site, you know, like, I mean, it's not going to bother any of the big creators because they're not live streaming. It's just the small suckers that do live streams. We've had this discussion before. Where's Casey Neistat's live streams, huh? Huh? Biggest man on the platform. Where's his live streams? Don't see them, do you? Doesn't do them. What version of Studio Beta is it? We'll get to that, Tim. I don't know the version. It's just, it's an internal browser update. They never tell you what, you just load the browser and it loads whatever the latest version is. Folks, I want to cruise back up to the top of the chat and say a nice warm welcome to the stream, because this is the stream where we chat. Once a week, we can have a conversation with me. The rest of the week, it's me pumping out videos. Although, coming up next week, there'll be 2 live streams, and I'll explain why in a moment, because I did my first IRL stream, streaming from Stevan, and it went really, really well. There was a couple of issues, which I'll talk about, but I want to also talk about scheduling if you're a proper English speaker like I am, scheduling. What's coming forward here on the YouTube channel, and also the D-Live, how we can kind of engage this live IRL content and not lose this weekly stream. So we'll talk about that. But up in the chit chat now, there we have a bunch of crew chatting right now. We'll get to the most recent, but I want to go back to the earliest just to give props to those that get here early. So we've got Tim Arskog way up there at 6:50 a.m. Now, Tim, I beat you, my friend. I was awake at 5:32 this morning for a daily vlog at 5:36. Sunrise, official, 5:38. Didn't see a thing. Big, big billowing clouds of smoke that have been, you know, basically hammering the whole country, right? So it's been a combination of smoke from the fires, or a combination of smoke from the fires and cloud cover. But today and yesterday, it's just bushfire smoke. We had a big, we call them bushfires in Australia. You might know them as forest fires or scrubland fires, or what do they call them? Wildfires, right? Same thing, the same scenario. We had one down here, a place called Bargo, not far from where we live, or relatively close. So close that the planes were scooping up, taking the water from our lake, and then flying down across the area and dumping the water. Yeah, I thought they were joyrides at first. I kept hearing this, and I was like, man, how many times is that dude going to swoop? I mean, it's a beautiful area here, I admit, but swooping that often? I don't know. So looking up in the chit chat there, we've got Tim Arskog. He was up there super early, like I said. Earliest comments left at 3:40 a.m. So you did leave one at 3:40 a.m., Tim? What When do you sleep, my friend? Do you ever sleep? That's up there at 3:40 a.m. That's crazy talk, man. DLE was up there as well, but not that quite early as well. DLE says morning, and then I jumped in there, morning DLE, and then there you go. Tim right at the very, very top of that screen is Tim chatting from way back. We're just having a very general chat there, kind of not a great conversation to speak of, but we were just chit-chatting about this and that, talking about the temperature, Melbourne going up and down with the weather. Yeah, Tim's got a cousin in Sweden, just outside of, where did you say, Gothenburg? Which we went to with Tracer. We played Gothenburg and Malmo a couple of times. Beautiful, beautiful country. Some of the most beautiful looking men and women. I'm into my women, don't get me wrong, but there was some good looking men there as well. And all ages too, like elderly gentlemen that are just like classy, sitting, it sounds wanky, but they were sitting in cafes, sipping from coffee cups, but they looked good. Like they didn't look like French dudes, right? They looked clean and like, I don't know. It was beautiful. I could definitely spend more time in Sweden. Absolutely. I've always been interested in the blonde, fair, blue-eyed, fair skin. That's my race. There's been some massive snow dumps in Sweden as well. Minus 15 degrees Celsius. Crikey. I mean, right now that would sound like a lot of fun for the rest of us, right? That kind of cold climate. Tim's talking about cross-country skiing. I've never done that. I've just done boarding, like snowboarding. I mean, that's kind of fits into the surfing and the skateboarding thing with me. So he was about 80 k's inland from Gothenburg. So that would be north, right? Because it's a kind of a narrow country. And talked a little bit about Malmo. And I was suggesting he's going to go back there and do some metal detecting, Jacob Ure style. If you know Digging Australia, a YouTuber who's doing a lot of metal detecting. Tim had a lot of fun time with his dad. Definitely a detector. That'd be rad. The potential finds. I said, you should open up a museum with all these finds, Tim. I mean, yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. And he's gone Denmark, Finland, and Norway. Why don't you just take all those countries at the same time? So me and Tim were chit-chatting about the value of some of these things. We don't know what they're worth, but I mean, if you find something that's been buried for centuries, there's going to be a value there. It doesn't matter what it is. Could be a plate, cup, a sword, dagger, steel, shield or something. It's going to be worth something, right? It's been laying in the ground dormant. It's a part of our history, Like if 20 years, it's 30 years from now, they found this microphone buried in sand. Not 30 years, 300 years. They'd probably think, we used to have those. Now, getting to the most current area of the chit-chat. Danako City! Danako's in the chat. How you do, my friend? By the way, that's a D-Live thing that I do here every now and then when I need to have a swig, and also when I want to welcome someone who's been giving me an awful lot of support over on D-Live. Danako, you know who you are, man. Thank you, dude. And also, Perd Beer, been highly, highly regarded over there on the D-Live Perd Beer. Maybe a little too much talk about... Oh, hang on. I was going to use the M word here, but we can't really do that on YouTube, can we? This is a YouTube stream, folks. Sit up straight, pay attention, obey the rules. Press the go live on the studio beta, and then watch what you say. This is YouTube. You will do what we say. That's kind of what YouTube is, right? The master beta. There you go, folks. I didn't say it. Tim said it in the chat. Paula was just popping in on the way out, craving a beer and a donut, which is what Germany's famous for. And Paula is in Berlin, so I'm jealous. You could be going and getting a Mustafa's, right? Go down there to Mehringdamm and grab a Mustafa's and rub it in my face. Not in a sexual way. Oh, can we say that? I don't even think we can say that. Enjoy your Donna, Paula. We'll stick around here on YouTube creating a friendly stream. Is this suitable for children? Yes. Are there children in it? There's one right here. I'm classed as an elderly child, right? But honestly, folks, the YouTube has become... How long are we in this stream? I'm allowed to swear. We're 10 minutes in. YouTube's become a shit show, hasn't it? Really? Like... It's just become so regimented, and every time you turn around, there's a new set of rules protecting this, protecting that, making sure they don't do this, making sure that... It's just become hard to enjoy yourself here. Very difficult. Oh shit, I see some dropping frames. Oh shit, I see really hardcore dropping frames. Just hold on there, folks. Wait for it. It'll come back. Don't worry about it. I know the audio is good when this happens. Just continue enjoying the content. It will come back. There's a little bit of a lag there. I saw that happening. Now, touch wood, we're still good to go. Yeah, YouTube, huh? I don't want to talk too much about it, but Tim says Casey Neistat is now designing wardrobes for the Japanese market. Lots of hanging space, apparently. Huh? Really? I've not seen any. I know he moved out to California, to the West Coast. I've not seen anything from that guy, and honestly, I don't care that I don't watch his content. I used to watch the big videos, like when he did something that was like, like there'll be a Christmas towing behind some car on a board or some crap. There'll be one of those done again this year, and I think that's just a played out sort of a guaranteed 10 million views, right? That's enough money for him and his family, but no jealousy, just a genuine disregard for him and his content. I just don't think it's relevant to me. It's cool, but it's not for me. But I know he did guest on the H3H3 podcast, and I haven't caught up to that yet because I'm way behind. I see some drop frames again, folks. Whoopsie! My bad. Well, not my bad, actually. We're doing everything the same as we normally do. I don't understand why YouTube's saying, we're not going to take your frames at the moment. We're going to give you less. Maybe the transcoding services is not available. Along those lines, yeah, I only watch the H3H3 podcast when I'm on a transit, say I'm on a train to Sydney, and I've got a couple of things up in town I've got to take care of, so I'll be catching up, but I'm a fair ways behind. I know he guested on H3H3. I know him and Ethan and Casey are good friends, and now that Casey's out there in the West, I guess they can get together and make content together, but yeah, I just think it's irrelevant. I think he's irrelevant, but not irrelevant to YouTube, irrelevant to me. As a creator on YouTube, he's irrelevant to me. And by the way, while we're here, folks, Rewind 2019. What the? That was them. That was them fixing things, right? That was them making the rewind better. I can't believe how far off the mark this is. It's just it makes me feel so far away, so far separated from the YouTube community, right? Like we're all in this community, but that rewind and the one before it, and arguably a lot before that as well, they just don't make me feel like I'm part of something here. It makes me feel like that's those dudes. You'll never be there, but keep on creating content. We'll keep siphoning you at the bottom, like rolling you around at the bottom like a wave, right? Like they get rolled around the bottom against the sand, and at the top there, those dudes always get promoted further and more views and more views. You guys just keep rolling around the bottom down there having your fun, right? That's how it feels to me as a small creator, right? I don't feel like there's ever a chance to be involved in that, and it puts those crews so high up on this pedestal that I don't want to be involved in it. I'd rather be tumbling around down here creating my content with my crew, and knowing that those guys are, I guess they're financially making the platform viable. They're also arguably making it worse for everybody. I mean, look what happened after Logan Paul took his trip to Japan, right? That changed everything, right? So those dicks are controlling everything, and we're just tumbling around at the bottom. But I digress. Mindy's on the drive. Yeah, Mindy mentioned that to me. She's on the drive, listening anyway. Thanks, Mindy. Thanks for swinging by with a listen. I appreciate that. Hello, Mindy. Tim says, it's your boy Moldy. Moldy's in the chit-chat. Moldy, how do you do, man? Good to see you back. Wandering Ranger all the way from D-Live. Everyone say good day to the Wandering Ranger. Awesome to have you over here, man. You were in the stream yesterday. I appreciate that, dude. Danako, finally got to see the YouTube stream. Super excited. I mean, Danako, yes, thank you for coming. I appreciate it. Don't get me wrong. I totally appreciate you being here. I wouldn't get too excited by these streams. I'm finding the YouTube less and less. I'm finding I think I want to do less and less live here on YouTube. Now, that being said, the IRL content we rolled out yesterday on D-Live is definitely going to play well here on YouTube. I think that could be how I sort of start rolling around a little higher in that wave, right? By doing something that no one else has done yet, IRL streams from a vehicle. But this kind of, I'm not going to stop this, but I'm not really enjoying it, if I'm being honest. If I'm being 100% honest, I'm not really enjoying live streams on YouTube. It's just a strange field here. It's just a strange, there's too much shit, there's too much faffing around to get it to work that I just don't really care too much for it. D-Live, on the other hand, I love, and I'll continue to do daily there. I guess I'm at a crossroads here where I know YouTube is important for me for such things as snorkel mask reviews and giveaways and whatnot, which we'll get to in a minute, by the way. But I just find like it's hard. It's a hard road here. And let me be clear, it's not so much just because of this top echelon that rules everything and that doesn't even live stream. It's not even really about that. It's more about how difficult it is, right? How tedious it's become. Like I don't want to fight to do a live stream, like to get it all working. I just want to come here and go, welcome back to the live stream, and I just want it to work. I don't want to have to think, is it going to work? Do I have to hit a button on the studio beta to make sure it's working? Do I got to verify that I got a secondary display up there showing me what the stream's happening, where like what you guys see? And I don't want to have to do that, right? I just want to stream. And that's kind of the same approach I have on DLive, where I won't get involved in too much back end, like the validator thing. Like I was thinking about, should I become a validator on DLive? And the reason I said no is because it takes me away from streaming. If anything, that takes me away from the content creation. I don't want to be involved in it. And at the moment here on YouTube, everything about the live stream, the setup, everything to do with it takes me away from the stream. I spent the 40 minutes this morning trying to make sure this would work. That's not cool, right? You should not have to do that to simply live stream. And again, my point, you never had to do it until they messed up and recreated the studio beta and made this new thing, right? Oh, maybe it doesn't work on the browser you're using. Well, then why did you freaking change it? It was working. Okay, so happy Saturday morning to you all, although it's 3 p.m. Friday for Wandering Ranger. Yeah, based gives. Based. I'm not sure what based means, man, but I'm gonna cheers you, Wandering Ranger, for that comment. Based. I'm not sure what that means. Wogwam fam, it's your boy Moddy. Ashton, hello Ashton, welcome to the stream. It's Narmosh Thrash from DLive, and see what I mean, folks? I got the DLive crew coming over here to YouTube, right? I'm bringing crew across. Does YouTube help me with that? Does YouTube promote me? Hell no. You're nobody, man. You're just rumbling around the bottom down there. Keep rumbling. Have fun with your rumble. I do what I do, stream live on DLive, and I use YouTube for video storage. A lot of crew are doing that, Wandering Ranger. A lot of crew are using YouTube as a storage space. Now, I gotta tell you, man, they will cap that down. They will stop that. They will go, yeah, back in 2012 and 2013, you could do that. But no, not anymore. Unless you're a genuine creator, I'll tell you what they'll probably do. They'll probably say, if you've got X amount of videos on your platform, on your channel, and less than, let's pick an arguably over-the-top ridiculous percentage, how about 30% YouTube? That's what they take off the top of Super Chats, 30%. Who's having a laugh? Did you know that? If you Super Chat me, YouTube takes 30% of that. 30%! What the? 30%. They shouldn't take any more than 8%, absolute maximum. Anyway, that's another story, but let's just say if you've got a channel and let's say 30% of your videos are listed and the other 70 are unlisted, I reckon soon you'll get an email, a notification saying, well, we've come. First of all, there'll be a terms of service change, and that'll be written into it. A little kind of side note, and people will pick up on it, make videos about it. Then you'll get an email saying, as of the 12th of January, under our new terms, please amend your channel to fall under the category of less than 30% unlisted. We're not a hosting site. We're a streaming site. When I say streaming, I mean we're a content streaming site, whether it be live or pre-recorded, whatever. You having unlisted videos is clear indicator that you're just using our site as a storage space. Maybe we recommend you use something else for that. That's coming, man. That's coming. That is coming. Categorically, that's coming. And I'll tell you now, what is it now? The 21st of December, 2019. Let's come back to this, and we'll find out when that does change. And I'll say, I told you. How's everyone? Tim Ascot, tired, just checking on my mate Gibbs. Thanks, Wandering Ranger. I make no money off anything I do. Okay, well, it won't be a financial thing. It'll be more of a, you can't do that on our platform anymore because we tell you can't. And the whole idea of YouTube, broadcasting is further and further from what that actually was when it began. It's now more about, you can broadcast, but if you don't broadcast within our set guidelines and within our set speech requirements and topic discussions, right, we won't let you. We'll totally pump you down in the algorithm. I mean, let's just say, I don't even want to talk about it because I feel like that will trigger the algorithm. But if we talked about something nefarious, this stream would get down promoted, pushed to the side, right? Like no chance of recommended, nothing. And they'll be like, well, no, that's our algorithm. Well, you created the algorithm. Oh yeah, but we made the algorithm to suit what we thought. Well, has it changed to the point where it just kind of like kills everybody? Like everybody that creates anything, I don't. I think I'm, even if I talk about this, I think it's going to like depromote me even worse than what I am. Ashton, I'm driving and working and delivering. Well, there you go, man. Have fun. Hey, you know what I want to show you folks? I want to get into the content from the IRL because the stream was rad. The streaming from Steve Ann was great. There's a lot of things I learned from that. I want to talk about that. But I did have a really, really fun surf yesterday, and it wasn't because there were waves. In fact, there were no waves, but there were dolphins aplenty. Check this out, man. This was so cool to be out there amongst these dolphins.
Right behind me. Good morning. We're right in the center of these dolphins here. What a way to wake up. South Africa, England, dolphins. Now let's get a wave.
I gotcha, Wandering Ranger. You don't have unlisted videos. What you're saying is your podcasts and short form videos will still be published here on YouTube. I just have no interest in live streaming. Okay, I gotcha, man. I feel you. Yeah, that makes sense, man. That makes sense. How sick was that? That was like a lot of dolphins, and they stuck around for a long time. What you saw there was a 40-second clip, right? Those dolphins were there for nearly all the surf. Let's be honest. Like it was me and some neighbors, some holiday makers, we surfed together. By the way, we're probably going to go out after this stream. The wind's going to die off. It's onshore at the moment. They were out there. We were out there for an hour and 5 with the GoPro battery, and those dolphins were there for nearly the whole time. It was insane. It was awesome. Ashton, I'd be scared out there. Yeah, well, if there's dolphins, generally there's not a lot of shark action, so dolphins is usually a good sign. And man, these dolphins were like right next to me. You could look in and you could see their hole and little, and you could even see on their dorsal fin like the where they'd had like weathering, like the fin had been cut by something potentially biting it or something. They had little cuts in their fins. You could see details. That was so cool. In fact, if dolphins looked different, I can't tell them apart, but if they did, I would have been able to yesterday because they were so close to me. It almost felt like they were going to come up and pet me, right? Insane. Donako, I want to say, man, you're such a hardworking content creator. I know I've said this a lot, but I'm so glad I met you, man. Such a genuine, down-to-earth dude. Donako, look, man, I really appreciate you saying that, man. Like I've found myself moving around a lot on YouTube and DLive with different people and different crew, and like I get, you know, we talk about this a lot on DLive, but I get given this label as this Mr. Negative, right, for pointing out things, right? Like, let me just tell you a quick side story here. The day before yesterday, someone sent me a link to a conversation on an electric skateboarders forum, like a Facebook group, a Facebook community group for electric skateboarders. Someone had made like a post about some board that wasn't performing, or something about a board. I didn't quite read it. And someone else in that post, he'd referenced getting the information from Jay Boston, right? Jay made this video or something about that product. And then someone else made a comment underneath that, like a comment on that post saying, the comment said, "Oh, look, to be honest, I wouldn't get my advice from Jay Boston. He's basically a wannabe, the Casey Neistat of YouTube. What a douche, you know, like basically slamming Jay." And like, okay, this is comical, right? The reason this is comical is that I can see some dropping frames there. I'll just wait till that comes back. It's just a little up and down at the moment. I see what's going on, and it's not back yet. Come on, it's in the yellow. Hey, we're back. So the reason this is comical is because Jay put a comment under that saying something to the effect of, back to the person who called Jay out, said, "Oh, can't even spell douche," like, because apparently the dude spelt the word douche wrong. And then something else, something just a bit like, leave me alone, or something like that. Not the key point there was that Jay called out this dude for spelling douche wrong. Now, I'm just saying, right? Jay is notorious for spelling errors. I've got screenshots up the wazoo of his spelling errors on even hard-baked content, like where it says help support the channel, links in description. he would spell that wrong, and it's hard baked into his stream, right? And I took 2 screenshots of his most recent stream where he had 2 typos, and I put up a reply to Jay saying, Jay Boston calling out someone for spelling incorrectly, pot calling the kettle black, and I put those two screenshots. Now, someone might say, well, what? Well, dude, that's just negative. Why would you do that? Well, first of all, why can Jay jump in there and have a crack at this guy after the guy's expressed his decision to not follow Jay's content because he feels like he's just the Casey Neistat wannabe douche, right? Why would Jay then jump in there and try to correct the guy with spelling and then have nobody step up and say, wait a sec, Jay, you can't spell, and here's proof of it. I do that because well, we used to be friends, and that's the way that you can help people to get better, by pointing out the potential mistakes they've got. Hard baked into a live stream spelling error. Dude, you probably should fix that. But we're no longer friends, right? So I put that up there in that other guy's defense to say, Jay's having a crack at you, but man, his history of bad spelling, notorious. And yet me doing that makes me the bad guy. Jay saying back to that guy, oh, what a dick, you can't even spell douche. That he's cool to do that. He's okay to do that. But if I put my reply, I'm a bad guy. That's not how that works, man. You, Jay, you're the bad guy for having a crack at this guy for spelling douche wrong. And you're the bad guy for doing that knowing that you can't spell. So I get given this negative thing, right? You're just Mr. Negative. It's like, no. You should call me Mr. Reality. Mr. Reality, because I'm given the reality of the situation. Well, what a dick, you can't even spell douche. Dude, get down, Jay. You're not as high as you think you are, dude. Get off your horse, man. And if you're not getting off it, I'll do my best to put the horse in the paddock and let it run free for a while you go back in and get a new saddle, get some new shoes, and make sure you're fit to ride the horse, because I don't think you are, man. And there you go. And yeah, and like I said, and Danako, you keep giving me props, which is lovely, because I've had these friends, right? Jay, like back in the day, Jay would take that from me, be, oh yeah, sorry man, I don't know, I was too busy to sort of check my errors before I went live. It's been there for about 3 weeks, it doesn't take much to see it. Do you watch your streams back to make sure that they're good? I don't know, man. I don't know. You just keep I remember telling him, dude, you're constantly spelling stuff wrong in your lower thirds, and you're representing brands. You're working with a brand, and he spelled brand names wrong. Come on, man. If you're going to represent a brand, you cannot spell their product incorrectly. You should check that 3 times and then get your wife to check it another time, and then you go live. But that back in the day, it was like, oh, thanks, man. Yeah. Well, thanks for letting me know. I'll check it. I'll change it now. But nowadays, it's like, oh, you're just a negative dude, just trying to make it all drama. I'm like, no, dude, you are, and you're doing it wrong. All I'm doing is calling you out because no one wants to, because everyone thinks you're Mr. J Boston, right? The high, it's a load of crap. Anyway, Wandering Ranger, you've made a fan and friend out of me for life. I feel like I could be your friend in IRL. Thank you, man. Yeah, totally, Wandering Ranger. I always look for my gives fix. Dolphins, surfing, smiling. Thank you, man. And Danako, man, you're the farthest thing from negative. You're such a kind dude. It truly inspires me, man. Thank you. And that's the thing. It shouldn't frighten you if there's a negative. If what's perceived as negative is aimed at you for whatever the reason, that shouldn't frighten you, and that shouldn't end a friendship. That should make you elevate yourself higher to make sure you don't do those things again, right? If someone says, dude, this could be something that you should work on, do you take that advice and work on it, or do you just go, oh, who are you, man? And continue on your way doing the same thing over and over again? No, that's not learning. You should take that advice, learn from it, don't do the same mistake again. That's how you grow. That is how you grow. Instead, we see butting of heads, and that's why friendships come and friendships go. And the most recent departing of a friend is the most hurtful, because that dude is a nice guy, but he's too trapped up in this J Boston kingdom rubbish. It's comical. It's comical. But anyway, that's where we're at right now, folks, in my life. It's not what I wanted to talk about here on this stream, but there you go. For anyone that's in here that's new, possibly watching the replay, wants to know what's going on, I would like to show you a giveaway that's rolling out on the channel right now. If you want to get your own ViewTech full face snorkel mask like this guy, this is a win which you can have. This snorkel mask, not this exact one. You'll get your own one shipped from ViewTech. Where does this go? Like that. This is up for grabs. Now there is a way for you to win this if you're watching right now. I have put a little linky poo in the chit chat. There is a link to go to a vlog where I reviewed this unit, and in that review there's a way to enter the competition, and it involves the live stream, pending live stream. So if you want to win, check the little linky poo that I just popped there and go and have a look at that, and congrats for those that are entering, and major congrats to the one winner, which will be announced here, I believe, on the 4th of Jan. It's in that link anyway. That information will be all there for you if you wanted to go ahead and win. And I think this mask is one of the better ones. I've reviewed so many masks in my time, and this is definitely one of the better ones. No fogging and some really cool purge valves on the side here, which when you're snorkeling, the air comes out of them on the sides, and you can purge the water out from below by holding these. And it's really, really cool. Really nice, interesting mask. It's good to see manufacturers doing something slightly different with this concept of the full face masks. And Snorkel Mart, they're the distributors of this mask. They've done really well with the ViewTech, so get in there and see if you can win it. Now, we do want to talk about the IRL stream, but we'll get to that momentarily. I want to also show you a slightly random daily song, and it's Tracer. And this is a snippet into when Tracer were without a bass player. So Lee Brown, the founding member of the band with his brother Mike, ended up leaving the band in 2012 and living, like, we were midway through a tour in Germany, and he announced, I'm going to leave at the end of the tour. So he stayed on in Germany and ended up marrying a German girl. We looked for a new bass player while we were in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam, and a gentleman from Adelaide called Pat Saraceno came and played bass, and he for that tour, right? So he filled out the rest of the tour playing bass, and another tour, not that tour completed a new tour. And this is him coming across and like kind of learning one of the tracks, Enter the Samurai. Welcome back to the slightly random daily song. Yes, I do have many Tracer t-shirts, and each time we get to a Tracer shirt, I'm gonna roll through some interesting Tracer stories, some footage, some great anecdotes. This t-shirt here, the European Fall Tour 2012. This took place, not surprisingly, in Europe in 2012. September was the month. Not long earlier, Lee Brown, founding member of the band with Mike Brown, his brother, and Dre, the drummer, Lee actually had pulled the pin and left the band. So the band was without a bass player at this point, and a tour was ready to go. I'll show you the dates of this tour momentarily, but this tour was already locked in. So there was all a confusion about who would be the bass player and trying to find the right guy. The right guy wasn't actually available at the time. He was busy with another band. It's a story for another time. But what happened in the intermission was Pat Saraceno, bass player from an Adelaide band called Like Leaves, happened to be backpacking through Europe at the time. Now, Tracer, the boys in Tracer, Mike and Dre, had seen Pat. They'd heard his stuff. They liked what he did. They offered him the slot. He was already in Europe. We were already over there. We were in Rotterdam at the time. So he came across to Rotterdam. I think he was in Spain, potentially in Spain, yeah. He came across to Rotterdam, met the guys. We gelled for a few days, spent some lockdown time in a rehearsal room while Pat learnt the songs for the tour. So the set, learned all the songs in the set, right? Learnt those songs back to front and played them a bunch of times with Mike and Dre. And of course, I filmed all this, documenting everything. What I want to show you here is one of my favorite tracks from the LA album, which is not really a full album, it's like a self-produced... Oh, wait a second, I've got one in my back pocket right here. It's their first actual release, if you like a small mini album, self-produced, self-funded, LA it's called. It went on to be re-released through Mascot Records, but this is the original version of it. And the track I'm gonna play you is End of the Samurai, the opening track, one of my favorites from this mini album, and you're gonna enjoy it, but I'm not gonna show you the recorded version, of course I'm not. I'm gonna show you a in rehearsal space version, like this is not mixed or mastered, this is just the audio off my camera, which happened to be a 5D Mark II. So you're gonna hear a very muted vocal range because I obviously lowered the gain on the mic so that it so that it wouldn't peak out with the drums and the guitar. The idea of this video is to showcase how Pat was kind of sliding into the band and how confident he was with the song, right? In this track, End of the Samurai, we were talking about all the songs for the tour, but in this instance, one song. So I hope you enjoy this rather raw cut, and you'll only ever see this kind of stuff here on the Gives a Minute D live stream.
Yo.
That was 3 octaves.
How you feeling, Pat?
Good. I'm feeling good.
Feeling good?
Okay.
Camera.
Always.
It does look pretty metal. You with a black kit. With black. Yeah,
Black and then black.
Yeah. Like, you know, Metallica. 80s metal. A little bit worse. You don't walk shit through there. It helps if I stand like that.
Is that helping you, Pat?
Yeah, it helps a lot.
Oh, cool.
Helps to relax.
Count it off.
When I learn songs, I like to learn with my pants down. But not me, I got my pants on.
Yeah, he's struggling at hi-hat.
Samurai? Yeah. That's how we call it in this band. We drop the end off.
Drop the end off.
Hit it. Feel good? Yeah, it needs to get out of there.
So what do you think, right? End of the Samurai, little rehearsal space in Rotterdam, locked away down there. I can't even remember whereabouts we were. We were pre-tour. That was, as soon as that was done, I think we did 3 days there. As soon as that was over, we went out on the road and we did all these dates with Pat Saraceno. And I could talk more about what happened after that, but that would be for another time. And so while I sit down and listen to the rest of LA, you guys can go back to the live stream. Probably could have chosen any track from this album. They're all bangers. Oh shit, I'm live. Whoopsie! My bad, folks. Holy crap, that came back a lot faster than I thought. Or did it? Folks, yeah, that's Tracer's LA self-produced mini album. I guess it's bigger than an EP. It's got 7 tracks on it, I believe. Let me just confirm that. Yeah, 7 tracks. Enter the Samurai. Don't Forget My Name, Wrecking Ball, Get Free, All Look the Same, Such a Waste, and Sleep by the Fire. Also a cracking song there, Sleep by the Fire. Now that was self-produced, self-released, but when Tracer did sign to Mascot Label Group in the Netherlands, they did reissue that, and I've got both copies here. This one's still shrink wrapped, and you can see the difference there. Oh, not if I don't hold the other side up. This way. You can see the difference there. The one that's still shrink wrapped has got the Mascot label, all the details and all the barcoding and all that crap, whereas this is just a self-produced thing. So it's kind of rad to have both of these. Like, this will never be opened. It's the same recording, just different packaging. And I guess I'm a little bit of a collector like that, aren't I? Especially when it comes to my friends. Like, it's just a shame that that band no longer exists because we will never get to see that performance again. A performance we will get to see again, though, is YouTube in the chit chat. Scotty Muir, how you going, man? Good to see you back, dude. Come at the right time too, my friend. We're about to, by the way, Uncle Benny, thank you, dude. You come at the right time. We're about to watch the IRL content that I did on D-Live yesterday, the first streaming from Stevan. Now, we're not going to watch it all. It goes for 3.5 hours, but we're going to watch some snippets, bits and pieces, just to sort of see how it all went. Mindy, having a yodel in Oz is Aussie slang for having a good vomit, usually as a result of too much alcohol. Who said... You may not know this, but I consider myself an amateur yodeler, Mindy. Really? Mindy? Make a recording of that and let's play that, you know? You know what? That could be a segment we could do here, like submitting your own creative outlets. Like, if you can yodel, go on yodel and make a video of it and we'll play it here if you want to. So, MintTube says, mint, I love that saying. So let's have a look at this, folks. Let's go across to here. If we pop this out here, this is literally the download of the stream. So let's play it, and also I'll talk over it. Let's kill that background. This is the intro theme that I've got, right? So this is my new thing, right? The new opening sequence for a streaming from Stevan live stream. Now, arguably, we don't have to watch all this. We can skim forward, but you get the deal, right? And I'll just skim forward to when it counts down, but about there somewhere, right? We'll play from there. Yeah, it was kind of funny too, because there was a technical issue with Stevan in that it didn't begin, it didn't start. It's pretty funny. Does the lead singer of Tracer live in Melbourne? No, he lives in Adelaide still. Yeah, Adelaide. So we'll just watch a little bit. We won't watch all this, but we'll talk a bit about it, right?
Mendon says hyper beer.
There was technical issues there. We discovered that straight away. Well, g'day, D-Live. You want to go for a ride? Streaming with Stevan, I can't believe I got it wrong. The first time I've done this, and I've talked about streaming from Stevan so many times, the first time I go to say it, I said streaming from Stevan. From Stevan style. You think I would have got that right? I've been waiting for this.
Beer says law.
So,
says echo.
So right here, we're hearing an echo from the TTS. Now, the reason I've got TTS on, text-to-speech, is because we did some research and it's illegal to drive in a vehicle with any VDU on. And a VDU is a visual display unit. So technically, I can't have a chat there. Even if I'm not looking at it, I can't have it. So we had text-to-speech on, and we got around that. Echo, okay, good to know. Is it an... Wow, hear this? That's an aircraft, a low-lying aircraft. When you say echo, are you talking about?
Mindon says yes.
Are you talking about echo from? So to get around this issue, basically what I was doing, I had an auxiliary cable patched out from the MacBook Pro into my head unit in my car, and I had the volume cranked up to the right-hand speaker only, and I thought that the microphone might not pick that up. So that's room noise that the mic that I speak into is hearing the TTS and patching it back into, so there's a feedback loop there. So the way we got around that, which is no point watching that, but the way we got around it was I put a can in, right? I put one headphone in, and that's how we got around it. So I went back indoors and grabbed a headphone. So I did that. We'll skip past all that rubbish. But when I came back in, you should be able to hear double up now.
DLE Crystal says in Melbourne we have bushfires. Bird says a lot of people lost their homes in the last days. Crying face.
There is a chronic amount of bushfires going on right now. Now watch this. By the way, I can hear text-to-speech. You guys can't hear it anymore. Is that all good? No. So I got that wrong. It's really hot here too. They can obviously hear TTS on the stream. Like you guys can hear it, and I can hear it, but there's just no feedback loop going. So that's perfect. But then, watch this. Stevan didn't begin.
So Shufunk says double your pleasure, double your fun.
Is it still doubled up?
Sandmaster says sounds good now.
Sounds good now? Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Well, folks, this is exciting, isn't it? You know what we should do? Let's get some more light in here. Open up the roof.
Birdbeer says, and the Prime Minister is in Hawaii. Mindon says, sounds great. Shufunk says no.
Thanks, Mindy. Thanks, Shafunk. Yeah, our Prime Minister's over there in Hawaii having a great time while we burn up here. Now, folks...
Birdbeer says no echo, but we can still hear TTS.
Yeah, you'll still hear TTS, of course. That's the function that you guys have to hear, but you won't hear the echo. Yeah. Thank you. Who was that? And by the way, there's no chat on my screen, so I can't see a chat. So I'm just curious to see how this works. I've done a few tests.
Shufunk says, but it was just enjoying its double man gum.
I couldn't work that one out, Shafunk.
Some of the text-to-speech is difficult to decipher.
As to see what happens. I'm also curious to see whether Stevan begins this time. Fingers crossed. I started it last week. All right, here we go. That's a follow, isn't it?
That is a sub.
Who followed? Do I get a notification?
I missed that.
Hey, mystery follower, thanks for following the Gives a Minute D live stream. Now that makes you the latest giver right here on the channel. So why would this make you a giver? Oh my god,
it wasn't even a follower, it was a sub.
See, you're giving me your time to consume this content. Me, I'm a giver because I'm giving you my time to create the content. See how we're both givers here, and this is a two-way street.
So,
but you're the latest giver on the Gives a Minute D live stream.
Sandmaster says no CERBERUS1, just subscribed for 1 month.
Gotcha.
That was a sub. My bad. I don't even know my own notification noises. I gotta be honest, being in one ear is a little bit weird. I can't quite... I want to still hear the road. You know what I should do? I should swap ears out. I should put it in this ear so that I can still hear traffic noise, right? And also these are noises...
Blastalezo says we'll forgive you if you don't do this while driving. Be careful, mate.
That's the thing, this is all hands-free, so all I've got to do is drive and show you guys. Stevan, touch wood, here we go. Touch wood, this begins. That ain't good. That's not good.
Says Mayunis, wow.
Mayunis, wow!
You dig me?
I ain't gonna turn over. I've got jumper leads and a spare battery.
So basically, I did the right thing and jump started this sucker, and it was kind of annoying. But once we got going, we were good. There was a little technical issue as well. Once the car restarted, it was really strange. The inverter, once I got power to the car, the inverter also needed power again, and for a long time it didn't power up. And so I had to sort of reset and the focus was out, and everything kind of went to crap, right? But then we started rolling, right? So here we go.
I'd rather have, right, while we're driving along. Tell me if you want that vision more than you want the vision on me. I think that vision's better, personally.
Now, looking back at this myself, I think that GoPro vision needs to be angled up slightly. We don't need to see that amount of Stevan streaming.
Beer says, "Huh, nice." Sandmaster says, "That's great."
Faffy Day,
Masturbated
thanks. G'day,
says,
Faffy
yes.
Day. This is
Wolves
cool.
from
Thanks,
Us
Faffy Day.
says, "That's perfect."
That's
Blocked
better?
Lezo
Okay.
says, "Love it." Masturbated
Cool.
says, "Higher vision." Beer says, "Yeah, it's better." Mindon
Awesome.
says, "This one."
This one, okay, cool.
The Wandering
Hey,
Ranger says, "This is great."
hey, Masturbator, we've never seen you before in the stream, so what's
I'm gonna
your
get
situation?
demonetized for
Where
that
are you
word.
from?
Shit.
What part of the planet are you watching this stream from? And where have you been all this time, man?
D. Elite Crystal says, "Looks great."
So yeah, this
Great
is.
deal.
Let's
Thanks,
let's bring this
Crystal.
out to full screen, folks,
So
because I
we're
just want
cruising into Culborough Beach
want you guys
town
to
here,
see
folks.
what it looks like as
This'll
well.
be, you know, the sort of we're heading towards the mobile phone tower, so that's always a good thing in terms of reception, 4G signal stuff.
Masturbated says, "In Mustafa."
Oh, you're Mustafa. You changed your handle again, dude. What are you doing changing your handle so often? Stick to a handle, man. Get a handle. Stick to it, right?
So yeah, that's the deal. We'll drop the volume down a
Yeah,
little bit.
per beer it is.
It's a little
Pretty
loud.
dry here right now.
But thanks, YouTube.
Right.
Yeah, this is mint. Yeah, it was so rad.
I've
And
got so
basically,
many
basically, we drove around town. I took you guys, and we'll just skim through it quickly, right? And we'll show you where we went. We took you into town, and I showed you Culborough Beach Township. I showed you the shops and just the vibe of the city. The plan was always to do a scenic drive and then relax somewhere with a homebrew. Now there was an issue during that point as well, and I'll explain why that was at the moment. But we're going into the bowling club here. We're just cruising through the bowling club, just showing you the highlights. And then if we went left here, which we did, we're heading out of town, and we're also going towards the tower. So turn a right here into the industrial estate, and there's a little bit of bushland here. I was thinking we could chill out there, because I got a 4-wheel drive, right? We could drive into the woods and just park up. But I thought, I'll show you the tower. So we kind of drove into this driveway, and that's your mobile tower in the distance there. That's the one that I'm streaming to right now. So it was kind of rad to take you all there and show it to you, just so that you know, like, the distances. And I feel like we get to a point where we do lose signal on the stream, and I kind of worked out that to be about 4.5 to 5 Ks away from the tower. So right now we're going back into town. We're going past the township. We go back through just for shits and giggles, and then we go back out to the coast. And arguably, at about 5 kilometers is where the signal from the tower started degrading. So I think that from now on, when we do this, and I want to talk to you guys about when we should do it. By the way, I want to do it here on YouTube as well. About 5 Ks is the diameter, right? So I'll find the tower and I'll draw like a circumference, a diameter around 5 Ks, and I'll say that's as far as we can go when we're because it's not always going to be here in Culborough Beach, right? It's going to be different townships with a 4G tower that we're going to go and explore. But it was good to sort of work it out here and like find out exactly where we come into issues, if we do. There was a couple of tech issues that went down, namely, I need a second Stream Deck, or I need some way to take my Stream Deck off the dash, because you can't, like, when you go to a sitting down like that. Currently my camera is mounted on the dashboard, on the windshield, and then when we pull up for a sit down conversation, I take that camera off, put it on a tripod, and just get the vision right. But I need a Stream Deck to trigger scenes. It was very, very difficult to work out the hotkeys on OBS, to which hotkeys would do what. Even though I'd set them up myself, it was extremely difficult to remember which was which. And you've got to be on the OBS software for them to work. So if I was, like, we were playing a cap game, and if my mouse was clicked on the score sheet and I wanted to do a reveal of the song, you'd hit Command B, which is the reveal command on the hotkey. But unless you've clicked on OBS first, well, Command B makes everything bold in text edit, so that's all it does. So a Stream Deck overrides all that crap, and I've kind of done a few little small things to work out how I can get the Stream Deck I've got working already, how I can put that into the setup. So that was kind of like critical. YouTube says, your grass is as dry as ours, dude, and all that haze in the sky. By the way, I was taking a piss there. All that haze in the sky, that's from the bushfire, from the forest, from the wildfires. It looks like a nice sunset, but it's actually pretty hectic. So let's skip on even faster here, because we'll get to when we pull up and sit down, and I'll show you how that rolled out. So we drive back into town, we kind of cruise around. We went to the skate park for a little while, showed you some skaters there.
back past. We stopped down here where the fire trucks were pulling out, or the seaplanes were lifting water out of the lake to go and dump on the Bargo fire. Oh, this was cool. Some bird life. So the tree that the birds are underneath, that's a gum tree, but the tree to the left, that's a pine
Fish
needle
Head
tree.
Media Man says they like seagulls or more.
So we're watching these birds and they get to a point where they take off, and I thought that was really cool for the international audience to see. Watch this. There you go. Pretty cool, huh? To see that. If you've never seen flaming galahs, there they are. So then we went down here and we went to a lookout. We had a look down here, heading west, obviously looking towards the sunlight, looking for a spot. We potentially were going to sit there. We had that in our mind. We'll come back. And when we did come back, that's kind of when the tech issues sort of began, if you like. So we cruised up around down here, and around about here was the extremities of the signal reception, approximately. Let's just have a little look. It's such a wide vision, you probably can't see it, but there is a seaplane. It looks like it's going to go past us. Forget that. Forget that. Yeah, the idea here is to have the same quality and the same beauty. Let's make this full screen. I have back home on full screen streams here in the streaming from Steve Ann, and also to have Jack's in the stream. You probably can't see that, but that's a Jack Daniels. I should probably turn that around somehow to make sure that it does face the correct way, because I do want to have Jack in every stream somehow. I think that's important to have Jack up there. Yeah. So let's continue cruising. So yeah, we cruised around, and this is kind of where we get to the point where I decided that it's about 2 hours into the stream, and usually that's around the time we play the cap game on my streams. So we looked for a spot to chill. Unfortunately, there was dudes already at a spot that I wanted to stop at. I'll show you that spot now. So we wanted to park up. We did a loop, actually. We did a circuit. Yeah, right where these dudes are. See that green? A fair bit of dropping. That green there. This is the spot I had in mind to set up. That green car. That's where I wanted to stop. Play the cap game. But there was dudes sitting there, so we couldn't. So we took another drive. We went a little further around, and this is kind of where some tech issues came into play, and I'll explain what they were in a second. But got to have the jack, definitely, man. Look at that sun, YouTube, beautiful. So we went back down to the same spot we were at before, and I pulled up here, and I'll just play it, but I'll drop the audio down. This was always the plan, but what's going to happen here, folks? Now, this is going to be interesting. Okay, just watch this. I'm going to turn off Steve Ann.
Joseph Schmo says Foster's beer.
Foster's beer, hell no.
Lily says it looks beautiful there.
Homebrew beer, yeah, it is. It's really nice here, Lily's. This is just up the road from my place too. But what I'm going to do here, folks, I'm going to roll some pre-roll content, which is going to give me the chance to swap this camera setup out of the vehicle onto more of a
Master
sit-down
says, did you ever
stream.
listen to the music I sent you? The happy Canadian says Tim has been sending me updates on how hot the weather has been.
I did.
CR4ZK31TH says, good day, Cover. Joseph Schmo says, where is the Jack Daniels?
There's a lot of questions there, folks. I'm going to roll, what I'm going to do, I'm going to roll a pre-roll clip. And while that rolls, I'm going to spend 5 minutes setting up a table and chairs and getting myself organized for a live stream outside the vehicle so we can sit down and enjoy the sunset and a beer together. So you're going to have to enjoy this content momentarily. Well, hello, the intermission. So that's what I'm going to call what this is here. This is a pre-recorded piece that I did. It goes for 5 minutes, and that's giving me the chance to set up the camera off the dashboard and get it together. But unfortunately, for some reason, I don't understand why it happened. There's a Stingray there too. I don't understand why it happened, but the HDMI cable that I use for the secondary part of the stream just wouldn't connect. So I've got an HDMI cable that runs through the dash under the chair and whatnot. I can't take that out, right? It's wedged in there. I've got a secondary one that I had used as a test, and for some reason, it wouldn't work for me. So I had to wangle. It was very, very sketchy, but and that's why it's blue there, right? Because when it cut back from that scene, it wasn't seeing the camera. And I had to use my FaceTime camera for a little while until I realized I could get the existing HDMI cable and wangle it enough to sit it on my window of the passenger door and at least get an angle that was kind of appropriate. Now you see how long the faff takes here? I'm faffing around. And this is really bad of me. I didn't want to do this. I wanted this content to be seamless. But again, this is the first time we've done this. So, you know, there's bound to be hiccups. But that's the cable there that wasn't working. So I worked out how I could get it working. I re-rolled that pre-roll clip again. I worked out that I needed to do that. So they got to the viewers got to watch that. And when I was good to go, we bumped out of it and the angel looks a little like this. So that's yeah.
For some reason, would not. You saw it. It just gave a blue signal. So
Is this the world's first live streaming van? I think so. I've not seen anybody do this before on
But I
YouTube.
can put the chat up on the screen here.
So yeah, we worked it out for a little while. It took a little faffing to get there, but the chat came back. I got the headphones out. We played a cap game. You'll see that come up momentarily. Got a better angle sometimes. We sat there. It got kind of windy. It got a little bit hideous. Once we worked out how to play the cap game, we played the cap game for a while. I cracked open a homie. And yeah, I mean, this was always the plan, to be able to sit down after driving for 2 hours or something, cruising around, having a look at places, and then find a great spot and cap game it up. Now, arguably, there's a lot of faffing to get there, but I know what to do. I know the things I know the steps I've got to take to get this to work first time each time. So right there, it's
Canadian sent a sticker.
basically all that was
Sam
my
Master
mistake.
says you are
So it's all working there, but I obviously can't play any commercial music here on YouTube. Hell no! But that's what's playing right there. They're playing the cap game. We played some AC/DC. All the tunes began with the letter A. We're going to do like letters of the alphabet in these IRL streams. And then pretty much, I guess you'll see, we'll drag this forward. That's pretty much how we played the cap game. Finished the beers. Finished a beer. And that was the wrapping of the stream. So, I mean... yeah, that's how I did that. That whole stream went for 3 hours and 40 minutes. And I mean, in my mind, that's a really interesting... let's bring you guys back up on the chat. That's a really interesting way to do live content. Like, theoretically, I've got the exact same setup I've got here, minus a light and a big screen television for the chat. So I could technically take that anywhere, right? As long as I've got a 4G tower. Now... arguably, some 4G towers aren't as powerful as others, and I guess we'll find that out as we go. Like, we'll see. I want to get a map and say, okay, folks, we've done Culburra Beach, we've done Kalala Bay, we've done Crookhaven, Currarong. Now, I don't know where the next tower is. On the map, it says it's down here in Ulladulla or Bateman's Bay or Milton. So I'll drive down there and start the stream when we get near the tower, and then we'll investigate that little town. Find out some cool... that's a 4-wheel drive. I can go off-road too. We'll find little dirt paths and stuff. And maybe I'll sleep over the night down there. Who knows? But I'll tell you what also happened. I've been so focused on this content. My mind's been so occupied with getting this content to work. And you know I've been talking about this for over a year now. After that stream last night, I came back home and had a whiskey and kind of decompressed and went to sleep. And crikey, I did a sleep talk record, and my goodness gracious me, I made some absolute dribble. Holy shit, this was at, what time is this? 23:24, so 11:24 in the PM when arguably I'd only been in bed for like an hour at that point. I went to bed about 10ish. This one's called The Stream Deck Doesn't Trigger. Check this out, if I play this for you.
Okay, so we're in this for a while, I think. We could be in trouble. We could be, not denying. It's like the Stream Deck. It's like OBS isn't kind of triggered for some reason. Back to the Stream Deck. Interesting. We still going live. Just have to touch it and see. Alternate choice doesn't matter if you press it. It's gonna be there. Okay.
That's me sleep streaming. I think I'm streaming at that point. Like, I look up and I see my infrared alarm system in this room, and I think that somehow means the camera's on or something. And I think I'm addressing an audience by looking forwards towards that alarm, and that's why this gibberish comes up. Just me wondering why my stream's not working. But I'm in one way, I know I'm not live because I'm in bed, but in another way, somehow I think that it is a live stream. It's so weird. It's so on the forefront of my brain. This one's called, and by the way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 of these to listen to, and they're all from last night, and they're all in the same hour. No, it's gone from 23 to 23 to 25. What's 25? That's midnight, right? 25 would be 0 o'clock, so midnight. Yeah, so it's the later ones. There's one there at... Oh no, they're all at 11, sorry, and then there's one at midnight. So let's have a look at this one. This one's called a series of catching up. Catching ups?
Ah, interesting. This is now... I'm going to do a tweak, a little tweak. I'm going to do a little series of catching ups. That's interesting. Very interesting. I've never seen this happen before to this level. The levels, Jerry. And it's going back to that.
What the hell? Levels, Jerry. I've gone from live streaming to quoting Seinfeld. What the... I've got to hear that one again. I've only heard these once myself this morning.
Interesting. This is now... I'm going to do a tweak, a little tweak.
I was mic checking.
Series of catching ups. That's interesting. Very interesting. I've never seen this happen before to this level. The levels, Jerry. And it's going back to that.
Does anybody know where that Levels Jerry quote's from? I know I told you it's from Seinfeld, but does anybody know the episode? And you hear me clicking. I'm obviously like audio checking a mic that I think is in front of me. Like, but I'm asleep at this point. Let me be clear. I'm asleep at this point, folks. I'm not walking around my room. I'm right there, fast asleep. This thing's on the dresser right next to my bed, and it's recording everything that I talk of. And it's so strange when life gets in the way of your sleep. Like, I'm tired right now because I spent all fucking night talking to nobody. This one's called Visual Indicator.
Working, but you don't get the visual indicator. It's kind of what you need when you're streaming live, especially driving.
You don't get the visual. I even like... Man, I'm a weird... I know I'm a weird man. I know that. Like, I know I'm a weird person. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm aware of how weird I am. But this kind of shit is weird. I'm talking in a funny voice to myself at night while I'm sleeping. And I even make jokes about the word. Like, I'm trying to say visual. And I'm like, visual. Almost like a gay kind of word. There it is. There it is, YouTube. Kramer builds the levels in his apartment. Yeah. Levels, Jerry. All of it levels. Levels, Jerry. Here we go.
Working, but you don't get the visual indicator. It's kind of what you need when you're streaming live, especially driving.
Crazy stuff, right? Just messed up. Now, this one, obviously, this one's called Blind Melon Faith. So I've obviously got the Cap game running through my head, and Blind Melon's a band, and I don't recall thinking about this band, Blind Melon, in a long time. I don't even really dig the band, but for some reason, I mentioned them on this one, Blind Melon Faith.
Well, there you go, folks. And from here on in, I don't know what happens now because I can't see a preview of the stream, so we just got to go with blind melon faith that there is still a stream rolling. Otherwise, I'm sitting here talking to no one. And nobody in all of its glory and need of all its Peter and Mash and madness, glory and glorification, my will and my celebration of Norda.
Folks, that one has to be the best. That goes into absolute gibberish. What am I talking about? Let's hit that again. That's ridiculous.
Well, there you go, folks. And from here on in, I don't know what happens now because I can't see a preview of the stream, so we just got to go with blind melon faith that there is still a stream rolling. Otherwise, I'm sitting here talking to no one. And nobody in all of its glory and need of all its Peter and Mash and madness, glory and glorification, my will and my celebration of Norda.
Wow, that's kind of scary, actually. I started sounding like a preacher, like a religious man. My glorification, my William, my Peter, my Mash. What the hell? Where does this come from, man? Scribbles, is that you on the stream? Scribbles. Yeah, this is me, man. How you going, Scribbles? No, we're listening to what we're hearing right here is my. So I did a live stream yesterday on D Live IRL streaming from Stevan, and it was affecting my brain. You know, it's been on the forefront of my mind for some time to get this thing to work. So much so that once it did work, I came back here and had a whiskey and went to bed. And as you're hearing, there's some absolute crazy sleep talk. This is an app called Sleep Talk Recorder. I have this set up on my table when I go to bed at night, and it records me sleeping at night. So this is me asleep, folks. I'm dead. I don't recall any of this. I'm asleep it's before midnight. It's 11:24. I'm asleep here talking to I think I'm live streaming. Like, I've got an alarm in my room in the corner, and it's got an infrared light, and I see that blinking at night, and I think it's a camera. So I start addressing it like it's a live stream. That's what's going on here. It's crazy. What the fuck? Yeah, Vaxton. G'day, Vaxton. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Good to have you, dude. I joined in that maybe cracker. Dude, there's a couple more him. This one's called Gotta Make a Test Account.
I have to though.
It's about D-Live.
To D-Live, wouldn't it? Yeah, that would have gone live. That's a shame that gets pumped out, right? Gonna make a test account? I don't want to do all that shit. Oh, it's a shame.
So I'm talking about having to make a test account to do a live stream on D-Live. I don't want it to go to my subscribers, to my followers. Got to make a test account? Why can't you just make it unlisted? Now this one, there's 3 more here, folks. This one's called Random Singing, and these are all from last night, and all in the space of half an hour from about 11:24 to just after midnight. This one's called Random Singing. It goes for 24 seconds.
I'm gonna change. Rubber chili go what about a ting tang bounce but about conching.
I mean, there's a bit of a melody there. I could probably make that into a song, right? Let's hear it again.
I'm gonna change. Rubber chili go what about a ting tang bounce but about conching.
Wow, dude, you scare me. I scare me. I am me, and I'm scared. This one's called "You're Interesting to Look At." Baxton's laughing. So am I.
Interesting. You're interesting to look at.
That should be the name of the song. If I do put that random singing into a song, I've got to call it "You're Interesting to Look At," and that'll be the start of it. Interesting. You're interesting to look at. The last one here, folks, is called Gibberish, and it only runs for 7 seconds. So, I mean, I want to play back that other one. I want to play back the Blind Melon Faith one. That one's the best, eh? Let me hear Gibberish, though.
I didn't choose a follower.
Wow, dudes. That could be the middle 8 section of the song.
I didn't choose a follower.
All right, folks. Let's just have one more listen to Blind Melon Faith, because I think that's the best here. This is Blind Melon Faith. It goes for 41 seconds. Last one.
There you go, folks. And from here on in, I don't know what happens now because I can't see a preview of the stream, so we just got to go with blind melon faith that there is still a stream rolling. Otherwise, I'm sitting here talking to no one. And nobody in all of its glory and need of all its Peter and Mash and madness, glory and glorification, my will and my celebration of Norda.
That is very, very strange. That one there, I mean, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna play those on the D Live stream later on today. But that's very, very strange. It's something that whenever I get something that's so intense on my mind, it does affect me. It affects me. It affects my sleeping life as well as my waking life. No doubt about that. And there's a clear example of it. Vaxton says, I actually started sleep talking myself. I should get that app. Yeah, man. It's called it's literally called Shit, I just closed it. It's literally called Sleep Talk. It's that one there. Sleep Talk. The little icon is like a dude in a little red scene on a bed, and that's what comes up. Pretty cool, man. I think I paid for it. I think it's still a paid app. I mean, I paid $7 for it way back when, and I've been using it since like 2012, and I got some crackers. But those ones there, like I don't use it throughout the week, but I'll put it on the weekend sometimes, and definitely when something big happens in my life, like when I lost a friend recently, I had it on that night, and I'm talking a lot about that scenario and the things that are plaguing me or playing on my mind. They often come up in these night conversations. I remember I had an ex-girlfriend, or had a girlfriend who's now an ex, and she was like, "You got to go to another room, dude. Like I can't. You're keeping me awake." And I'm like, "Well, I'm sorry, but what am I going to do? That's just how I am." And she's like, "I don't care. Like if you're going to talk that much, you need to go to a separate room so that I can get some sleep." I'm like, okay. Oh, there's still a free version of it. YouTube's just downloaded it. There's a free version. Rad, dude. Yeah, get it, man. I guess they've probably got ads in there now. But I mean, yeah, it's a big relief on my mind that I could do the IRL stream. Vaxton, did you see any of the IRL content, the streaming from Steve Van? Did you catch any of that on D Live, or did you see any of it here? We just rolled a little bit of that content. Did you catch any of it? I did my very first ever live stream from a moving vehicle, streaming from Steve Van IRL style. If you didn't catch any of it, it is on. I was going to talk about that. I will be doing IRL. So it's gonna go 1 week IRL D Live, the week after IRL YouTube. Now on the YouTube week, there won't be a D Live stream that day. There'll be 2 YouTube live streams. There'll be one on Friday night for the IRL. There'll be one on Saturday. No, shit. How am I gonna do it? I don't know how I'm gonna do it, folks. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. I was originally thinking YouTube's got a split. No worries, man. Take care, man. Yeah, you should check that out, Vaxton. Yeah, there's the most current rerun on my stream is called Crookhaven Heads, and that's the live stream that I did yesterday. But I was thinking about doing separate content here, like D Live one day and then YouTube the next. But maybe it won't be Friday night. Maybe it might be Sunday on YouTube. Yeah, it might be a Sunday. I've still got to work it out, because I don't want to take away from D Live by streaming IRL on YouTube, but I physically can't stream. I'm not restreaming. I'm not using restream, folks. Forget. People put that in the chat. I'm Little John too, by the way, if you remember the nickname. Vaxton, I don't remember that was you, but there you go. I love it when people come across from D Live and they tell me who they are, their handles. So thanks, Little John. Yeah, I didn't spot that. I think what we're going to do is we're going to do Friday night IRLs on D Live, and then the next week there'll be a YouTube IRL stream. Oh shit, I can hear my outro music rolling, folks. Thanks for swinging by the Gives a Minute YouTube stream. Hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed it. I'll see you all this time next week for another stream, and then an IRL stream on YouTube. Wow.
Oh, that's we're out of time.